From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello, I'm Alison Mitchell and welcome to Stumped. With me for the ABC in Sydney is Brett Sprigg this week, and Sunil Gupta is with us for Akashvani in Delhi. Now, teenage sensation Vaibhav Suryavanshi made further history by becoming the youngest man to play for India. He was just 15 years and 99 days old when he took the field in India's second T20 of their ongoing series against England. It breaks the long-held record of the great Sachin Tendulkar, who made his debut in a test match against Pakistan at the age of just 16 years and 205 days back in 1989. So Neil, a lot of fans have been waiting for Suryavanshi to make his debut for the senior team. And after the Ireland defeats and a record run of losses, there's been a lot of consternation, I know, about the state of the T20 team overall. But what have you made about the hype around him in particular?
He's a generational player. You know, once in a generation, get somebody. You talked about Sachin Tendulkar way back in the 80s, and now you're talking about him. So yes, I mean, he has the talent. But like anybody at this young age with that type of precocious talent, it's got to be honed. He's got to calibrate it. You know, you can play in flat pitches at the IPL in India and you can hit the ball, you know, all over the park. But suddenly go to England where the ball is moving around and they've thought about. They realize that he's not comfortable against spin in the beginning. So he's got to be able to calibrate his game according to the situation, to the ground, the atmosphere, all those things, the competition. And I think that is the next step that he needs to take. He cannot go out there and just hit blindly. In fact, even in the Under-19 World Cup, I remember, they got him out 2 or 3 times very cheaply before they actually figured out, or he figured out, what needed to be done. He's got immense amount of potential. But it also remains to be seen, Ali, what does he want to do? We can say a lot of things, but what does he want to do? Does he want to really make his name only in the white ball game? Or does he actually want to play red ball cricket as well? Which, as we all know, and Brett just said, is, you know, the acme of cricket. And that we don't know as yet. I think he's too young for him to start making up his mind. But right now, he needs to just recalibrate his game according to the situation and according to the competition.
Yeah, he's generational, but you're right, other T20 stars are players of a generation who made their legend in Test cricket and then sort of became T20 stars as well. So it's going to be interesting to see the path that he takes. The Indian fandom around him, though, Sunil, I mean, that is a phenomenon already, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. No question. You're talking about fans saying, why is he not playing? Yes, that was a bit on the front page, I can tell you. No idea what he was doing. But that was there, certainly on the sports pages. Why is Vaibhav Suryavanshi not playing? Why is he not playing? And a part of that, I suspect, was what happened in Ireland and in the first couple of games. You know, where is he? Where is he? He can't come there and save the entire team. But you can see the desperation. And of course, everybody wants to see him. As I said, he is a fantastic stroke player. If he gets going, you can't stop him. We know what he can do. It's that little bit of a gap between the cup and the lip, you know, for Vaibhav right now, especially in England, where he hasn't played before. That's what he's got to do. So, yeah, he can do it. Yeah.
I mean, I find myself listening on the radio maybe, but then when I know he's going into bat, I want to go to the TV and turn on and I want to watch with my own eyes. But will the fans give him time? I mean, you talk about him needing to calibrate his game, and this is his first appearances in the international arena. Will they have a degree of patience?
Well, he's lucky he's playing in England. That's a long way away, not in India. So he doesn't have the full glare of the population on him. And of course, as I said, there's so many other distractions. But yes, I think they will give him a little bit of time. They recognize that he's young, he can't do everything himself. But he's got to show that he can do those things. He can, you know, move up a notch. He can, as I said, calibrate or change or, you know, modify his game according to the situation. So I said, yes, I think they will, definitely.
Sprigg, obviously some allowances have had to be made around the fact that he is just 15 years old. I mean, incredible putting him into the senior team at that age. Is it a sense of if you're good enough, you're old enough?
I suppose so. And I know it's a big call to talk about players who could revolutionise a sport, and God knows that we in the media can be prone to hyperbole, but I love the idea of what this could be as far as red ball cricket. I mean, he was out here, I think, 2 summers ago, hit an 80-ball 100 in the youth test against Australia that day. I think he hit a 60-ball 100 in Chennai as well in a return series of those same players, and some of the guys he pogoed that day are just now starting to make their mark on the domestic fringes here now. And you must also consider that he could play the 19s for, what, a few more years? It's not that he will be, I suppose. He's got bigger things going on. But you don't want to put too much on the shoulders of a guy who's still only a child. But could he make India fall back in love with Test cricket if red ball cricket is in his path? Could he get a Test match opportunity maybe in the new year against Australia? That would be a furnace to be thrown into in the Border Gavaskar series. But all those things to consider, of course, he is only just 15 years of age.
Does he want to go through the rigours of Test cricket over 5 days, those long days in the dirt where things don't always go your way? But I mean, in terms of him playing in England at the moment, Sprigg, it's a wholly different challenge to playing on the tracks and the fields of the IPL, isn't it?
Perhaps, but then again, you look at the fact he has experience at underage level in a few different parts of the world. Yes, not against senior men's players, but it is freakish what he can do. The best players know what is required of them in any given innings, and that includes T20. I mean, T20 has become so multifaceted these days that you do see players take time to assess conditions and all of that. And I hope that he has that in his game, not just sort of crashing and bashing boundaries. It sounds as though there is far more to his game than that, and maybe this tour is the place to find it, regardless of what the actual results, the actual scores look like.
And given that he is 15, Sunil, what role are the senior players? I mean, there's been a lot of change, we know, in the India T20 side, but what will those older players, what role will they have to play in his development?
Well, I'll just give you a little aside. If you're talking about boys amongst men, he's not allowed to share a room with the men. Yes,
safeguarding regulations in England.
Coming back to this, yes, obviously, but I think the team is in a situation right now itself in which people are just trying to find their own feet. You can see what's happening to the team, what happened in Ireland, what's happening over here. So how much time they can devote to him, I don't know, but there is a coach. There is a coach called Gautam Gambhir, and that's his job. I mean, he's supposed to give him advice and show him where he's going off and what they expect from him. And obviously they know they're good, but they're young. I mean, exactly as Brett said, I mean, they're 15, 16 years old. What are we doing at 15 and 16? This guy is playing out there with the big boys. So I think somewhere along the line, somebody has got to hold him and say, hey, listen, you're damn good, but listen, look at this, look at that. And that is what the coach is supposed to do. He's there. And he's got to be able to calibrate himself. Who needs more attention? Those guys or this boy, right? And if he's going to be my bright spark, well, then I better really look after him with kid gloves. So I think that's the type of role that a coach must play. And I hope that he's playing it.
Brett, given you're in the thick of the football season in Australia, does the name Suryavanshi still manage to cut through, like that box office element, even though it's happening the other side of the world where he's playing right now?
Absolutely. Look, it's all of his qualities, his bat speed, those powerful coiled wrists, and his fearlessness that he has. I mean, fearlessness, that's what earns respect all over the world. You look at all the best cricketers, whether it's batters or bowlers throughout history. The ones that earned respect outside of their own country were the ones that didn't back down from a challenge. And it sounds like he won't back down from a challenge either, young Suryavanshi. So I did see, though, you mentioned the football season. We had Bharat Sundaresan, who's a fantastic ambassador for cricket, certainly, but also now with doing some work with the AFL here in Australia. And he was talking to people in the crowd about Suryavanshi last week, some of the AFL legends asking questions about this teenage superstar. So, yes, there is certainly a lot of cut through.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, Neil, finally, is there concern in India about the team's T20 form? Is there a sense of, these players can only play on IPL-style wickets? What's the narrative going on around this T20 team right now back home?
There is no question there is concern. I mean, you cannot wish away a defeat to Ireland. It's the first in any format, in any time. And you've got to turn around and say, hello, this is the team that won the T20 World Cup, and suddenly they're in Ireland and they're being beaten 2-0. There is something that needs to be fixed in this particular team. Whatever it is, whether it's temperament, whether it's style, whether it's planning, whatever it is, it needs to be done. And remember, this is the team that's been selected. I mean, the coach, the selectors, everybody are complicit in this team. So according to them, this is the best team that is going there. And if your best team is not performing, losing to England, one thing. Losing to Ireland, slightly different. And I'm being, euphemistic about this. But there it is. And that should really ring the alarm bells. So, yes, I think there is. I think there is some happening right at the back once this whole thing is over, depending on how the rest of the series goes, including the ODI. And remember, in the ODIs, you've got Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli coming back. So it's not equal to equal what's going to be happening, let me tell you now. But yes, certainly I'm worried, I must tell you, whether anybody else is or not. I mean, forget the 76, that can happen to anybody, right? But otherwise, losing by 1 run to Ireland when you can't, there's something not happening right in this team. And I think Somebody's got to put the finger on it and say, hey, I've got to fix this, and cut that Gordian knot or put the finger in the dam or whatever it is. But you got to do that. And if they don't do that, then I think this sort of little spiraling downwards might just continue.
Now, it's another historic moment for Lords as it hosts its first ever women's test match. The home of cricket has only ever staged test matches for men, but now England's women are taking on India for a one-off game, an occasion of great significance for women's cricket at a venue where women weren't even allowed to apply for membership until 1998 with the MCC. It'll be England's first test since their Ashes defeat in Melbourne last year. India have recently shown a desire for more red ball cricket, having played England, South Africa and Australia over the last 3 years. Now, part of the England squad is fast bowler Lauren Filer, who told me that she's proud to be making history.
I think playing any sort of test match is a great honour for your country. Obviously, the fact it's at Lords and it's the first one is obviously going to be amazing. I think we've proved to everyone in this country over the last month or so that we sort of deserve to have this platform, and we had 30,000 people come and watch us on Sunday. So like we can definitely fill stadiums and things. So yeah, for sure, it's great that we can play here, and yeah, we're happy to sort of hopefully start the process of playing more games here as well.
Everyone, I imagine, is well aware of the historic significance for the women's game.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think that if anyone doesn't know, then I think a lot of the likes of Heather and Nat will definitely be telling everyone how special this is. I know that Heather's like really, really, really looking forward to it from an MCC sort of London Spirit point of view. Like she knows how big this is and how important this is for women's cricket moving forward as well. Like hopefully we can sort of take this into the next few years and just show, like I said before, that we deserve to be on this stage and we can play at these amazing grounds and get a really good crowd in as well.
Are you much of a sort of historian on the game yourself? Are you amazed in the way it's taken even this long in the modern era, if you like, for the women to have a chance to play a test on this ground?
Yeah, I think when it first got announced, or when we first got told about it, it was a couple of years ago, and it felt so far away that I think it didn't really feel like a thing at that point. Whereas like recently, obviously the World Cup's taken a large majority of people's thoughts recently, but I think it's always been something there. And it's weird for someone like me who's probably come into cricket at the right time in the sense of the professional game started just as I was sort of coming in, turning 18, 19. And it's strange that it's only just happened. It feels like we've made so many leaps and bounds over the last 5-6 years that actually feels strange that hasn't come a bit sooner, probably. But yeah, I think we're just pleased that we can actually do it now. And again, like I said earlier, hopefully we can sort of keep having test matches here and places around England that are sort of prestigious within the test match game, within the men's game. And hopefully we can sort of have more test matches in and around those grounds as well.
It is a tight turnaround, isn't it, from finishing the T20 World Cup to then coming back and switching to a wholly different format. Are the team going to be ready? I know there are some different faces.
Obviously, it's always difficult when you have got that such tight turnaround. I know me, Tilly and Wongi, who obviously unfortunately didn't play in the World Cup, but we had a chance to sort of bowl red ball in and around training within the World Cup as well. So there's a few of us that obviously have had more exposure to the red ball recently than others. And I think that's kind of always how it's going to be with red ball cricket within women's game at the moment, because we play not much of it at all. So you kind of get thrown in at the deep end a little bit, because especially people that are coming in that have never played a test match before, like it's a different challenge, and you probably learn on the job a little bit, but that also makes test match cricket. You've got to adapt quickly and to the conditions and where you're playing as well. Like obviously Lords has the famous slope, and that's going to be probably trickier with the red ball than it is with the white ball. So definitely a challenge. But I think people coming in bring, the girls that weren't part of the World Cup bring in such an energy. We just said it, I've just been in the changing room, they've all just come in, and me and Belly have just speaking about how nice it is to have 5 of them all sat next to each other in the changing room, and they're all just absolutely buzzing, and you can just feel the energy. And obviously there are people that are tired because they've had such a big month, but hopefully we can sort of lean on the energy of these other people coming in, because they've got so much excitement around it and stuff.
And what about the challenge that India will pose? What are you expecting from them in this format?
We haven't played them for a couple of years in this format, so I think it was a tough defeat last time we played them, obviously, and being in India as well, like in their conditions. Obviously we're not the spinning ball and that sort of thing, and they always pose a different sort of threat just because of the way they play. They're very different to in Australia and New Zealand and stuff like that, they hold different challenges against us. And I think we've just got to go in and play how we know we can play, and we can match up to whatever they sort of challenge us with. We just need to make sure we've switched on. I think that's with red ball cricket, that's probably the biggest thing, is being able to adapt as quickly as possible to the conditions, to the bowler, to the batter, or whatever. I think that's the key to being ready and switched on for any sort of challenge.
Do you think it should be 5 days rather than 4?
I'm a big advocate now. I am a big advocate for 5 days. I think my debut was a 5-day test match against Australia, and it would have been a draw if we didn't play the 5 days. So I think it's definitely something that's it's something that could happen. It's just obviously with the way the women's game is we don't play a lot of red ball format, and sometimes it is hard for it to last 5 days because we're just not used to it lasting like that and playing that specific way. Like, I would never complain if we had a 5-day test match. I think it's always a great thing. And to be honest, playing a test match, whether it's 4 or 5 days, is amazing. Like, we don't get that very often. I think I've played 4 and I've been with England for 3 years, so it doesn't come around very often. So I think we've just got to take it as it comes and be great and almost embrace it when it does come.
And finally, what has it been like since Sunday night? You were part of the squad and there at Lords for that T20 World Cup final. How was that in the sort of hours post the defeat?
It's difficult to take. I think the girls were outstanding all tournament, and obviously just fell short at the end. And like, Australia are obviously a very good side, and they sort of showed that on Sunday, and we knew that we didn't play as good as we could have done. And yeah, it's one of those where it's obviously very difficult when you come off the pitch. The first sort of hour or 2 hours were really hard, and seeing your best mates get really down because of one performance is obviously really hard. As a friend, like, I hate seeing everyone really sad, and it's something you don't want. But luckily, it being a home World Cup, we had a lot of family and friends around everyone, and I think that really helped sort of keep everyone kept as a team and made sure we sort of celebrated what we had done throughout the whole month of trying to inspire the next generation and sort of the movement that we've made for women's cricket. I think that was something that we really wanted to make sure that we came together as a team and actually congratulated each other. And I think we did that. So I think, yeah, it's definitely tough. And a few of the girls sort of took a few days off to go home, see family or whatever. And sort of we've come back in today, and hopefully we can sort of move on to this test match and have eyes on what's coming up next.
Well, that's England fast bowler Lauren Filer. And before we go this week, our thoughts here on Stumped very much with the family of the Afghanistan fast bowler Shapur Zadran, who's died at the age of 38 after being treated for a rare immune condition in Delhi. He memorably hit the winning runs for Afghanistan men against Scotland to help them get their first ever World Cup win in 2015. So our thoughts and condolences very much with the family of Shapur Zadran. Well, that's it for Stumped for this week. I'll say thanks to Brett Sprigg and to Sunil Gupta. Give us a like and subscribe so you never miss an episode here on YouTube. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.